So as I explained to you what my system for game is, I first want to get into what is a system for going about doing game in the first place and what should it accomplish. And one of the biggest things I want you to think about is think of a system for game as sort of, I'd call it an escalation model. Meaning you've started out as a stranger, not knowing someone, and you have to go through various steps, various stages in getting to know them. You need to become acquainted in some way. You need to develop some sort of like sexual spark in some way. You develop enough sort of like trust for them to want you in their life, that sort of thing. You need to get physical, you need to progress things towards a location where things can happen. You may need to deal with different logistical issues like friends, where cars are. So there's all these different sort of milestones, different like waypoints in the interaction that you're gonna need to hit. And if you don't have a plan, you're just gonna be completely aimless, right? And there are good plans and bad plans, sophisticated and unsophisticated plans. Probably the most basic plan you're very, very familiar with is the old plan you learned in like high school, if you're in the United States at least, which is like the 4 bases model, right? Which would be like first base is kissing, second base is the boobs, third base is like fingering the girl, and fourth base, home run, is having sex, right? That's a very basic, very crude sort of an escalation model where you're just ticking the check boxes. Now, obviously, what we're going to talk about here is a lot more sophisticated, a lot more thought out, a lot more effective than that. But do think of that as one form of escalation model. That would be an escalation model specifically for going from not a lot physically to sex physically. And within the scope of all these different escalations, there are these stages and these waypoints that you can hit. And actually, we're going to start off in this system with a very, very simple model where we just hit the absolute bare bones. We just get the things you absolutely must have in game that if you don't have them, it's virtually impossible for you to get a success. And at a beginner level, I want you to just focus on those broad strokes. And then we're going to layer in complexity as we go. And the beautiful thing is the model that we're going to create for you, or that I'm going to create for you, is basically designed so that it expands. So once you've learned the basic model, you can fill in each layer of complexity, and it should enhance the model, enhance your understanding, enhance your ability to execute out in the field without giving you places where you have to go back and unlearn things, without huge setbacks. So it should create a nice steady progression to your game without a lot of the confusion, without a lot of the plateauing, without a lot of the setbacks that you'll have. Well, without a model, you'll have, you won't even have setbacks. You just won't be getting anywhere. But with other models that aren't tailored to expand in that way. So that's what we're going to go with. But in terms of thinking about what a model is, we understand that you're starting within anything. Within intimacy, you're starting at 0 and going to a very high level. Within physicality, you're starting at 0 and you're going to a very high level. Within logistics, you're starting in a very public place, you're going to a very private place. So there's this progression and these waypoints that you need to hit. And if you don't have a plan or a roadmap, you're just going to be randomly going all over the place. So first thing you need is a roadmap of what are the things to hit. And then the second thing you need within that is how are you going to go about hitting each of those milestones. So that's really what a system is. That's really what an escalation model is. And that's what we're going to be exploring throughout the rest of this module.